Chapter 2. Dr. Dawson. You can barely hear Dr. Carter Dawson, saying hi over the roaring in your ears. The gorgeous man you spent the whirlwind night with isn't just half your age. He's also Sid's protege. Oh, God. Fiona, are you all right? Realizing you haven't replied to Sid's introduction, you gaze up at Carter and fumble for words. Yes. It's nice to meet you, Dr. Dawson. Give Carter a look, silently begging him to go along. Sid's told me all about you. You're a big deal around here. Carter shakes his head as if to clear it, but there's a flash of understanding in his eyes as he follows your lead. I, don't know about that, but it's nice to meet you two. Carter, this is my wife. You raise an eyebrow and Sid winces. I mean, ex-wife, Fiona. I guess it's Fiona Jacobs now. Sweat prickles along your lower back as you try not to look as guilty as you feel. Hi, Fiona. It's a pleasure. I'm sorry for interrupting, Dr. Morton, but I wanted to ask you about the patient in room 22. She's recovering now, but, Well, Carter quickly relays some medical speak to Sydney. You're reeling. Sid's been talking up this Dr. Dawson for ages, and I didn't know that... What have I done? I'll, leave you to your business. You turn towards the door, desperate for some space and a chance to think, but Sid's voice stops you. Fiona, wait. What if Carter helped you with the details for that welcome dinner? The hospital just finished remodeling one of its event spaces, so he can take you over there for a look. You wouldn't be opposed to death in this moment, but if the ground wanted to open up and swallow you, that would be better than this. Oh, I'm sure he doesn't have time. But Carter gives you a long look and meets your gaze. I like that, actually. Don't worry, I've got a few minutes. You're tempted to protest, but anything is better than standing there between him and Sid. You manage a weak smile. Okay, show me the way. Once the two of you leave his office and are out of earshot from anyone else, Carter breaks the silence. So, when you said you hadn't had time for dating in a while, that was because of, Sid? And when you said your work kept you busy, I had no idea you worked with Sid. One of the newer surgeons in his department, partway through my residency. I wish things were different. It's not a big deal, my working with Sid. Yes, it is. It's a huge deal. Not to me. I don't care that he's your ex. I appreciate that, but I care, and it's not just your work, it's that he's too young. That one of you is 40-year-old divorcee and the other is an up-and-coming doctor in the prime of his life, then it's all complicated. Carter slides his gaze over to you, and God, you wish you could go back to last night before that moment ever happened, but you can't. I was hoping you'd take me up on that offer for a second date, but that's not going to happen, is it? No, it isn't. Last night was fun. Fun is a poor substitute for the truth. You still remember the way he tasted when he kissed you, how alive you felt with him, how seen. But we have to put that behind us. No one can ever know what happened. Carter starts to reach for your hand, but pulls back, stopping himself. But we still know. Yes. And I'm grateful for that. It was a wonderful night, and I mean that. You manage a sad smile, trying not to lose yourself in more memories the first time your hands touch the easy curve of a smile. But that's where this ends. Carter opens his mouth like he wants to protest and closes it. He gives a single nod. If that's what you want. You reach the remodeled event space and Carter opens the door for you. I guess I'll go and leave you to it then. Thank you, Dr. Dawson. I'll see you around. Yeah. See you around, Miss Jacobs. But as he turns to go, brushing past you, you can't deny the longing you feel or the wistful look in his eyes. A few hours later, you meet up with Natasha and Gina for lunch, and unfortunately, they're desperate to know how last night's hot date went. You barely texted us since, so let me guess. The sparks have been flying. Oh, damn. Unless it was really bad. Was it bad? Not really. Gina cocks an eyebrow at you. Not really. What does that even mean? It means not really. You're not gonna give us a lot to work with here. You stare at your BLT you've nibbled on, wishing you were hungry. You didn't want to get the food, but Nat and Gina said lunch could not just consist of coffee. So, did Carter live up to expectations? Or because I had high hopes after seeing that Hinge profile. Maybe grabbing lunch with them was a mistake. They have too many questions. Carter was nice. Natasha shakes her head and Gina groans loudly. Oh, go on, girl. Keep giving us nothing. If Carter was just nice, then that means he was a dud. No, I didn't say that. He was sweet and thoughtful. A way better listener than Sid, honestly. So, did you two go Dutch, or did he pay for the date? He insisted on buying her. Oh, that's cute. So chivalry isn't dead yet. No, but people make it really hard. It really depends on how the date goes, I'm gonna be honest with you. Did you perhaps share a kiss? Oh, forget a kiss. Did you share a night of passion? Gina, nobody says night of passion. I know I've been out of the dating game for a while, but you can't tell me that's a thing. Fine, maybe not. But there was passion, chemistry, sparks. You feel your cheeks warm as you remember the heat of Carter's kisses, his hands trailing over your body. Does getting handsy on a rooftop under a meteor shower count? They cheer loudly. Oh, that's my girl. Oh, Fiona, I'm so happy for you. But you cut off their congratulations by burying your face in your hands. You don't understand. He's just way too young for me. He's also Sid's protege. He's what now? You briefly fill them in on the awkward run-in at the hospital. The table is silent until Nat reaches out to squeeze your shoulder. I'm so sorry, but you were right to nip this thing in the bud. Seeing Carter again would be way too awkward. Plus, there are plenty of other hotties in the dating pool, including ones over the age of 30. Oh, please, you're both making too much of this age gap thing. I've had plenty of flings with people around Carter's age. I don't see why it has to be a deal breaker. Because... I mean, you are just getting out of a divorce. I don't know, man. I don't know. Carter works with my ex. That doesn't matter. I don't know if I'm ready to date. It's totally valid. I know we pushed you to get out there, but you don't have to do anything that doesn't sit right. It wasn't that it didn't feel right. It was great. It was a great time. But putting myself out there again was kind of terrifying. Yes, Carter's gorgeous, sweet. Yes, the kiss was amazing, but I barely know him. Gina whips out her phone. I can fix that. What are you doing? Oh, calm down. Just finding his picture. Gina taps on her phone and holds up the screen so you can see. She's already found his profile. Why don't we scroll through and learn more about gorgeous, sweet Dr. Carter Dawson? The Picta vibes never lie. Either there'll be a parade of red flags and you can feel validated about never seeing him again. Or you'll see he's a total catch worthy of another date. It's a win-win. It can't hurt. Yes, it can. Okay. We can snoop a little. A little. Whatever you say. She hands you her phone, and Carter's Picta pulled up. So, this is how cyberstalking works these days. This is how the youths find out about their crushes? Nat and Gina laugh. We always could do internet search for Carter Dawson, but I think his Picta will be more revealing. Less talking, more scrolling, please. With a deep breath, you look as Carter's pinned photo, which is the same as his profile pic from Hinge. Oh, God. He still looks so good in that swimsuit. I'll say. Then you see his most recent post. A shot of the stars. He posted this last night, just a few minutes after we said goodbye. You pull up the photo and read the caption aloud, your voice soft. I can't stop smiling. So... it can't be about me. He probably went to another bar after we said goodbye, or met up with someone else, or... Fiona, please, this is totally about you. I so agree. You obviously made his night. I agree to disagree. We can't know for sure why he posted it. You could always ask. But the idea of Carter stopping to make this post on his way home from your date, smiling non-stop because of you, is undeniably flattering. It would be nice to know if it was about me, though, wouldn't it? You scroll down to a few images of Carter white water rafting with friends. There's one of him posing by another riverbank, beaming. This looks like a fun trip. And it doesn't hurt that you get to see more pics of him shirtless in those shorts and show off his hip bones, his skin glowing in the sun as water droplets gleam on his bare chest. Does it, though? Don't some people wind up going over waterfalls and plunging to their doom? Don't some people choke to death on chicken bones? What's your point? I don't think that happens very often. I told you, Nat, stop watching those. It could happen to you, docs. Hey, that was one taught me to always keep a compass in my car just in case. Yep. And how often have you used that compass? No, scratch that. How often do you drive your car in New York City? Not the point. Keep scrolling. You share a laugh with your friends before you turn back to Carter's profile. You scroll through lots of hiking pics, including a striking shot of Carter in some mountains upstate. He's always hiking up in Allegheny. It seems like your hot surgeon has an adventurous side. Okay. He does make hiking look hot. Like sweaty in a good way, you know? He really does. Those pics are making me want to dig out my hiking boots. Nah, not just Gina. Since when do you own hiking boots? I've hiked once a decade ago. Maybe this is a sign that we all need to dig out our hiking boots and plan a girls' weekend sometime. I'm in. A maybe, but for you two, I could be convinced. Wow, that's true friendship. True friendship was finding your dates. Picked a profile. You're welcome, by the way. As you continue to browse the photos, you suddenly spot a familiar building. A smiling Carter stands in his white coat outside of Liberty Heights Hospital. This must have been his first day working under Sid. He looks good in white. That's a hard color to pull off. And he's got this comforting aura, even in these pics. I bet he has a good bedside manner. I'm sure he does. He was really kind on our date. See, this is why you have to go out with him again. Tap the hospital building in the background. No, this is exactly why I can't. Your heart aches when, even as the smile in Carter's face makes you want to smile back at his image, you read the caption to yourself. Finally here, I can't wait to save lives. He was so excited to match at Liberty Heights. Carter must be pretty talented. Sid's picky about surgeons he lets in a residency program, right? Yeah. Carter seems happy with it. Well, my hat's off to him. 4 years of college was more than enough for me. I can't imagine going through med school and residency. No kidding. I could never. After watching Sid go through the whole process, I can safely say that Carter isn't afraid of hard work. That seems like a great quality in a date. Hey, I thought you were team no more dating Carter. I'm team Fiona and your happiness. That can mean a lot of different things. We still haven't answered the most important question, though. Is this guy single, or is he secretly a player? Right, okay, scrolling. most of the picture of nature, although they let you know that Carter's a good photographer. Look how he captured that light. Other pics are selfies, others are several of him with a larger group. In one, he's carrying moving boxes for a friend. Wow, this guy still helps his friends move in exchange for pizza? That's generosity right there. Hey, I'd do it. Some pizzas are really good. And then you spot one of Carter and her. Okay. They're both smiling. Carter's arm is around Mystery Woman's waist. Your stomach twists as you remember Carter's hands around your waist. You already felt like you crossed a line with him, and now... Look at the pic. Did I just kiss someone who has a girlfriend? Why don't you look at the date on it? Uh-oh. No caption on this one. Let's see if we can figure out who she is. Jaina scrolls through more pics looking for other signs of Mystery Woman. And finally, she finds one and taps on it. And good news. Check out this caption. You read it over Gina's shoulder and suddenly feel like you can breathe again. I don't get to see my cousins much, but I'm so glad I got to hang out with Becca on our family camping trip. Thank God. I thought I was suddenly a cradle robber and homewrecker. Jesus. Nat reaches over to pat your arm. Hey, you are neither. I don't see any other signs of girlfriend material in there. Now, let's see if there are any more flirty beach pics. She and Natasha both scroll while you try to exercise restraint, but as Gina and Nat bump hands scrolling, they jostle the phone in yours, and a little heart appears beside one of the beach pics. The Carter in a bathing suit beach pic. No. How do I unlike it? Just tap it again. Although if Carter has notifications on, he would have already got one. Perfect. So now he knows I was cyberstalking him. Oh no. He knows some rando with a nondescript avatar was cyberstalking him. I pulled up his page on an anonymous profile for a reason. Do I even want to know why you have one of those? For times like this, obviously. Well, then thank you for your wisdom and discretion. But fake profile or not, that was way too close. It's like a sign for us to stop scrolling. Natasha nods as Gina puts her phone face down on the table. How do you feel about, what we found? Relieved? There weren't any glaring red flags, and that I didn't go out with a secret a-hole, I guess. But if anything, seeing more of his life just made me like him more. The temptation to reach for Gina's phone, or worse, to pull up Carter's profile on your own is very real. There's so much you still don't know about him, so many different shots showing off those kind eyes and his beautiful smile. I'm not sure that's a bad thing. Carter seems great. Natasha shoots Gina a look. Great or not, he still has a lot of strings attached. But don't worry, Fiona. We'll find you someone just as amazing. I'm not in a rush, I promise. You scroll through Carter's pictogram. Maybe it's enough to know I had a good date with a genuinely nice guy, and that I'm still capable of putting myself out there. Yes. Cheers to giving it a shot. Gina lifts her drink, and you all clink yours against it. But as your friends turn back to their lunch, there's still only one thing on your mind. How am I supposed to forget about you, Carter Dawson? You don't. It's the really cool, neat thing. A few days later. You're home alone and bored out of your mind. Never thought I'd miss apartment hunting or calls from Sid's lawyers or giving up our furniture, but at least it was something to do. Now that it's over, you're left in an apartment you've barely finished furnishing, and half of the people on your social calendar are doctors, spouses, or hospital staff. I get the feeling none of them are too keen to see me, and besides dinners Sid talked to me about, I don't have anything on my plate. So you pull out your phone and text Nat and Gina. Hey. Are either of you free? Nope, sorry. Walking to pick up kids now from school. It's mid-afternoon and I'm trapped at my desk. I wish I were free. Oh, right. I barely know what day it is right now. It would be a miracle if I don't snap at Greg today. He's already mansplained twice. Does he know better by now? If only. If you really need something to do, Fiona, why not use the list for inspo? Oh, it's a great idea. You close out your text and pull up the bucket list. Number 5, treat yourself to comfort food. It has been years since I made glazed lemon cookies. I mean, if that's your comfort food. Sid never liked them, but he's not here to object. That thought lifts your spirits a little, as does the memory of your favorite baking recipe. I just need to get the ingredients. You head to the grocery store, still getting used to the pleasant but weird feeling of shopping for 1 instead of 2. It's nice that no one's going to complain about me expanding my dark chocolate collection in the cupboard. I would have left him just on that alone. No, I'm kidding, but you know. The cookies are best with fresh lemon juice, so you head to the produce section and reach for the perfect lemon at the same time as someone else. Oh, sorry. Your fingers brush theirs and you turn to apologize to... Oh. Hi. It feels both absurd and inevitable that Carter is standing here. He's in casual clothes but still gorgeous as ever. Carter, what are you doing here? He laughs, and it's like a balm to your soul. His mere presence is calming as he holds up a grocery basket. The usual thing people do at grocery stores? Right. Of course. I just moved down the street last month, so this is a new go-to spot. I'm still trying to get the lay of the land, though, learning my cereal aisle from the chips aisle. And you, do all your shopping in the middle of a random weekday? Only when I've gotten off a night shift. Although lately, that happens a lot. Since we're both here, though, maybe you could show me around. Otherwise, we'll just be awkwardly passing each other for the next half an hour. You're torn, knowing you should resist the draw you feel to Carter, but it's not like this is anything flirty. We're just 2 acquaintances who happen to be at the same store. It'll be fine, right? Okay, I can be your grocery tour guide. Ah, great. It looks like you've already seen the illustrious citrus aisle, but over here we have leafy vegetables, apples, melons. Perfect. I can cross watermelon off my list. He didn't make a pun. Damn it! He adds a ripe watermelon to his basket and literally pulls up a checklist on his phone to tick it off. Wow. Do we have the same favorite fruit? Yes. Watermelon, yes. Depends. Do you also buy the first watermelon you see every summer and then eat it in a big slices because it makes you feel decadent? Not slices. Well, we won't get into it. Not slices, though. Yes, actually. Makes me feel like, you've never said it out loud before, but the softness in his gaze encourages you to go on. Like I'm some kind of queen of the summer. It's silly. He'd have every right to laugh, but instead he just smiles and lifts his basket a little as if in a toast, and then makes us both summer royalty. You stroll through the rest of the fresh produce side by side, and it feels, you want to say far too comfortable, but it feels easy, just like the other night did. I think I'm all set for produce. Glance at the scant back contents of his basket, the watermelon, few peaches, small bag of lettuce, and you can't help but ask, so, are you single? I just noticed you're only shopping for 1. He chuckles, hefting his basket in one hand. Yep, I'm very single. I wouldn't have gone out with, well, I wouldn't have a dating profile otherwise. I figured, but I had to ask. You can ask me anything. You duck your head, feeling your cheeks heat up. That's probably not a good idea. But why don't you tell me a bit more about your residency so far? I know being a first-year intern can be... I'm actually 2 years into residency. I transferred to Liberty Heights from another hospital uptown. 2 years into residency and he's only 26? How is that? As if he can read your mind, Carter gives a sheepish grin. I finished college in 3 years, fast-tracked through med school, and got a bit of a jump start. High five, brother. I finished college by the time I was 18. What? I'm impressed. That can't have been easy. Well, at least I would have. I won't pretend it was, but I've known this was what I wanted to do for a long time, so why wait, what, right? And yet here I am reading choices. Shut up! Let me tell you, life, really? Right, life? You take him through the dairy aisle where you spot a bowl of fondue laid out with samples of the store's cheese and fruit. Yeah, no, they don't do those anymore. Wow, they do samples here? Only on Tuesdays, so you're lucky you came by today. His gaze flickers over to you for just a moment. Yeah, I'm lucky I did. Can't let them go to waste. You dip one of the apple slices into some chocolate, but as nice as it is, it's nothing compared to the sight of Carter's slipping a strawberry into his mouth. When he bites into the ripe fruit, you feel that rush of forbidden desire again. There's something so carefree about how he does it, like he couldn't care less if anyone's watching. Yeah, it's a fruit. I'll let my gaze linger. You let yourself watch every movement of his lips, remembering how they felt against yours that night atop the hotel. Here, you've got to try one of these. He picks up another strawberry and holds it out to you. And for one moment, you're tempted to just bite into it, to find out what it's like to feel if his fingers brushed your lips. But I can't, especially not here. With effort, you pluck the strawberry from his grasp and take a bite. But even in the brief moment, your hands still touch. You're right, they're perfect. For better or for worse, the next aisle doesn't have any samples, but Carter restocks on some spices. So, do you go through this much dried mint and turmeric on the regular, or are you just getting it on sale? I happen to like turmeric in cooking, although I don't have as much free time for it as I'd like these days. I've got a day off tomorrow, but I'll be holed up in the medical campus's library studying for my GSQE. Oh, I remember seeing the prep books for that back in the day. Yeah, everything's in PDFs now, but somehow even the files still feel like door stoppers. Well, after you score or ace your GSQE, maybe you can cook yourself something nice to celebrate. We'll find out in a few months, I guess. But what about your plans? I saw you grabbing some nutmeg and cinnamon. Are you finally getting back into baking? Oh, you remember that I bake? Of course. I remember everything from that night. He doesn't quite meet your gaze as he says it, which is a small mercy, but it doesn't stop the small thrill that runs through at his words. Then yes, I'm going to back to a recipe I haven't touched in a long time. Glazed lemon cookies. Oh, that sounds delicious. I'm a pretty decent cook, but I've never done much baking. As the two of you get ready to check out, Carter meets your gaze. It'd be fun to learn from an expert. If you're up for the company, maybe you could show me a few tricks. It's a daring request. Given your discussion at the hospital, but the thought of him in your kitchen, in your home, is undeniably thrilling. It's just one baking lesson, that's all. How much could it possibly hurt? Yeah, what could it hurt? You know, baking. Things getting hot. Doughy. What? I love some company. There aren't a lot of tricks to baking cookies, but I'll show you what I know. I have a feeling I'll still learn a lot. Before you know it, you're ushering Carter up front the steps into your apartment. Sorry, it's a bit sparse. I haven't lived here long. I'm still working on redecorating. But Carter shakes his head, walking over to admire the framed paintings over your sofa. I like it. Lots of light. It feels warm. And this rug really brings the room together. You sure you aren't an interior designer? I'm sure. But that's very sweet of you. It's not easy making a space for your own. The first time I got my own apartment, it was all cardboard boxes and bare walls for months. I'm not afraid to hang paintings these days, but still, it's awesome that you put this space together so fast. Thank you. It's honestly my first time living on my own. It's more than you meant to admit, but the words keep tumbling out. I went straight from college, roommates just said, and then eventually here I am. And do you like being here? I do. It feels a little strange, but I'm starting to be proud of it. You should be. The warm smile again. That perfect sincerity. Having him here is even more distracting than you imagine, so you head to the kitchen to busy yourself by getting out ingredients. Well, we should get baking, otherwise you'll be stuck here all day. Anything I can do to help? Sure. Grab the sugar, some mixing bowls. They're in those cabinets over there. You point and Carter helps gather what you need. His body brushes against yours when he reaches around you to grab the bowls. You try to ignore the full body tingles that rush through you. Pull yourself together, Fiona. Looks like that's everything. So, where do we start? You set a handwritten recipe card on the counter. We're basically making a classic lemon cookie dough with glaze, but the glaze and the dough both have a twist. Can you tell me the twist, or is this a if I tell you I have to kill you type of thing? You laugh. Normally yes, but since you're helping me make them, I guess I can let you in on the secret. I mix extra vanilla into the dough, and instead of topping icing with the lemon zest, I sprinkle it with chili flakes. Okay, that actually sounds really good. Wow. Now I can't wait until they're done so we can taste them. Don't worry, your secret recipe is safe with me. He mimes, zipping his lips and throwing away the key, grinning at you the whole time. You have Carter measure the dry ingredients while you mix up the wet ones, sharing a few basic baking tips. It's, not as big a deal for most cooking recipes, but a kitchen scale is always more accurate than a measuring cup for flour. Huh. I'm here for precision. Kind of the important thing in my line of work. You can't exactly do a stitch that's close to good enough. No, I guess not. As Carter adds half a teaspoon of salt, he looks over at you. So you made this recipe yourself? That's impressive. You shrug, crack open an egg into a mixing bowl. He rolls up his sleeves and begins mixing the dough together. It's not, though. It's still based on a basic glazed lemon cookie. But with your twist, it's what this recipe development is, right? Adding your own spice to the building blocks of a good cookie? Well, when you put it like that, it's hard to argue. Careful, though. Don't overmix this part. Gotcha. Carter slowly slows his mixing, tilting the bowl towards you every now and then so you can keep an eye on it. The side of his forearms flexing is more affecting than you'd like to admit, but it's not impossible to admire the easy strength of his movements. So, can I ask what got you into baking? Learn from your mom's always a nice touch. She baked a lot when I was a kid, and it made her happy, so I just wanted to be in the kitchen with her. We still bake together every time I fly out west and visit. I love that. Sounds like you two are pretty close. We are. She's pretty great. Although I don't know what she'd think of my first night of being divorced date. So is my mom. She taught me most of what I know about cooking. You try not to stare too much at the flex of his forearms as he gives the dough one last mix. You, must have been a good student. Don't give me too much credit until we see if I've ruined your cookies or not. With the dough fully mixed, and not too mixed, it's time to start forming the cookies. You lay out 2 baking sheets and settle on one of the stools as your kitchen's island Carter takes the other. Use the quarter cup scoop right there, and then once it's in your palm, roll it until it looks like his gaze follows the deft movements of your hands as you shape a lump of dough onto an almost perfect sphere. This. Got it. As you begin shaping more of the dough into balls, Carter's arm brushes yours in passing. It's clearly unintentional. He doesn't even glance at you, but you still feel a spark zip through you at the contact. I shouldn't be doing this. It's only making me like him more. But you don't move away from Carter. You don't want to. These are going to be extra tasty. I can feel it. What? They'll be extra tasty just because you're helping? Laughing, he gestures at the row of picture-perfect cookies laid out on his baking sheet. I happen to think I'm doing a perfect job. Better than decent. You're a natural. There is something about being in the kitchen. I think it's because I have room to get creative. At work, even if I get off script, I could hurt someone or worse, but with cooking and baking, the worst that can happen is you start over with a new batch of cookies. Yeah, way lower stakes than surgery. You finish spooning the cookie dough onto the baking sheet, and then you double-check the oven temp. All looks good so far. You know, I'm not sure you needed my tutoring. You really do know what you're doing. Don't give me too much credit. The dough is forgiving, and I had a good teacher. She's alright. Please. The cookies aren't even out of the oven yet. They already smell good. The lemon zest keeps hitting my nose. That makes you grin. You focus on getting the baking sheets in the oven, and without you even having to ask, Carter begins washing some of the bowls and measuring spoons. Don't wash the spatula just yet. That's my most, more important, if controversial, tradition. You have to lick off some of the dough. I know it's not safe or whatever, but trust me, it's good. Never have I heard someone go, don't lick the dough or the thing, or don't wash it, but it might be bad for you. Bro, we all lick, listen. You know damn well all of us lick the spoons and shit. Come on now. I've never heard it's not safe. Anybody? Carter laughs and shrugs one shoulder. In my expert medical opinion, the risks of one bite of raw cookie dough are worth it. I'm gonna lick the dough, I don't care. And here goes nothing. His gaze stay fixed on you as you lick the batter off the spatula, enjoying the tart sweetness. Yum. You lick up the remaining batter, and he swallows, still watching you. The feeling of his gaze is even sweeter than the taste on your tongue. I am glad it was up to your standards. Me too. We're almost done now, but while these bake, we just need to whip up the glaze. With his help, the last step is over far too soon. Once the cookies are out of the oven and cooled, he helps you drizzle glaze over the top. Your hands brush again as the two of you arrange the batch onto a plate. Iced lemon cookies. I would. You know what? I actually, when I was younger, I actually liked lemon bars. I know. These smell just as good as I remembered. Thanks for all your help. Well, thank you for showing me the ropes. I'm sure you got the things to do, so let me pack some of these up for you. But Carter shakes his head. I came here for a lesson in the company. I know this recipe means a lot to you. You should get to enjoy the fruits of your labor. But we both worked on them. You have to at least try one. Okay, if you insist. I can't possibly resist. His lips brush against the tips of your fingers, sending a jolt of heat through you as he pulls back and swallows, eyes widening. Oh, wow, this is incredible. I hope you'll, enjoy the rest of it just as much. Still feeling flushed from that moment of contact, you wrap up the remainder of the cookie for him and walk him to the door. Thanks again. You're, very welcome. The ache at the thought of him leaving, never sharing another moment alone like this, is so strong that you have to stop yourself from kissing him. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. You too. And then he's gone. The whole rest of your day, the house feels emptier than it did before he got here. And every time you pass your platter on way too many cookies, the smell of lemons only reminds you of him. God, was my mistake of bringing him here at all, or not just kissing him? Treat yourself to comfort food. Oh no, I just want to say, indulge in self-care, dress to the nines, take a leap. Take a leap might be going after him. Make up for lost time. Get laid, shut down a hater. Probably, who was it, Bev at the hospital? Choose your happiness is probably the end one. Face your fears. Next morning, after a restless night, you allow yourself one indulgence. I'll bring Carter some cookies. They'll just go stale if I don't share them. You head to the medical library attached to the Liberty Heights Hospital, but you don't see Carter at first. Maybe that's for the best. I shouldn't have come here. It was just... But right when you're turning up to go, you spot him. He lights up at the sight of you. Ah, hi. What are you doing here? I just, came to share these. You hold out a wrapped plate of cookies, and his eyes widen. I told you I wanted you to enjoy them. I have been, trust me, but you saw how many we made. Oh, well, true, there were lots. You pass Carter the cookies, and he gently takes your hand, and his thumb brushing over your knuckles. This was, really thoughtful, thank you. It was nothing. Don't mention it. When you pull away, he hesitates for a moment before letting his hand fall. You turn to go, but... Fiona, wait. Your heart beats wildly in your chest as you stop and look back at him. He lowers his voice so only you can hear the next words. I know we agreed to put this behind us, but I can't stop thinking about the date the other night. I can't stop thinking about you. His gaze flickers over you and you shiver, remembering his hands on your hips, on your waist, sliding higher to tease your breast. And I don't think you would have invited me over yesterday if you didn't feel the same way. What are you asking me, Carter? He hesitates, and in that singular moment you feel your whole world shift as you gaze into his eyes. What would you say to one more day? The answer would be yes. Anyway, without further ado, let's be honest. The answer is yes. Without further ado, thank you all for watching. Please remember that if you did enjoy, to like, share, and subscribe. Seriously, would mean the world to me if you would, hit that button and become a part of our community. It'd be great to have you. Aside from that, let me know your thoughts about the chapter. Pretty much got 2 done. And then, again, if you didn't notice, I left a message at the end of chapter 1 asking a question, which I guess I can go ahead and ask again here. So typically I save the end of the videos for commentary and thoughts and feedback and critique. And, back a few years ago, I used to do, like, Choices Weekly or whatnot, where I would just, like, take all those comments, all those thoughts and everything, and do a quick little video and kind of, like, put them all into the video itself versus the end of the chapters. That way, people would know specifically what it was for. And we'd have, you guys, if you want that, let me know. And then also, do you happen to have any questions pertaining to these books, pertaining to me, or pertaining to any of that? So I can, again, that's something that back then I just did and kind of, did kind of like I do at the end of the videos, where I just talk about my feelings for the chapter, but then I could also address you guys' questions, concerns about choices or whatnot. So perhaps maybe I'll put a poll up on the channel and our community and see what people feel about that, and if people want that, then we'll go from there. So aside from that, once again, thanks for watching. Catch you all later. Peace out.